Hey there, Mount Whitney. This is your principal, Mr. Aguilar, and I come to you with an important message that I want to share with everyone. As your new principal, I have an opportunity to share with you three important goals that I have. One is student safety and building school culture. Second one is doing everything we can to help you with academic success all the way through graduation. And then the third goal is making sure that we've got you ready to be a productive member of the next community that you may join, which could be the workforce, could be some form of college, JC, university, or a trade school, or maybe joining the armed forces. Whatever that might be, we have to make you ready for that next step. So in that process, what I've been doing the last several weeks is just gathering information, observing, learning, asking questions, and learning everything I can about what we can do to make our school the best high school possible. And what I've learned from that is that there are a few things that we need to focus on. And those are student accountability, our use of cell phones in the classroom, and our tardy policy. So with that being said, I want to share some information with you because it's very important. So let's start with student accountability. First off, I want to say that I've seen so many students being so successful on campus. And they reach out to me and they say hello and they ask me how I'm doing. And some of the data that I'm seeing, that some students, or actually many students, are making positive decisions and are being very successful on campus. And I appreciate that. Keep doing what you're doing because it works. There are some, though, that are struggling with some of their decisions that account for some of the information I'm gathering that need to address those three things I just mentioned. So let's talk about that. Now, I'm a man of laws and rules and expectations. And so there's certain expectations that we have to have here on our campus at Mount Whitney. One starts with, okay, how are we going to hold students accountable to make sure they're making the best decisions possible? So one of the things I've been doing is gathering teams of adults to help students be as successful as they possibly can be. We have our admin team. We have our teachers who do all those things in the classroom to help support you be successful. We have our campus supervisors that provide our security on our campus. We have Mr. David now, who is our behavior interventionist, who's going to do a wonderful job and is doing a wonderful job that can be very supportive for our students. I have Mr. Henry, if those that have met him. He's volunteering right now his time, but we're trying to get his organization on campus to bring more mentors here at Mount Whitney so they can help support you being as successful as you can be, and he's doing an outstanding job. We also have our team of counselors, and we have Mrs. Johnson, our on-campus intervention teacher, in our accountability center in room B24. So it's this team building, these people that are out there, and there's staff members, and there's people all over campus. There's all kinds of adults that are here to make you successful and want you to be successful. So that's one of the things that we can do to help you be accountable for yourself and the decisions that you make on campus. When those things aren't working, well, we have to look at certain things that says, okay, this is where it's going to be if you can't make the best decision for yourself. And it starts with me as a licensed attorney for 33 years. It says, what's the law say? And that's education code. And there's an education code directly on point. It says 48900. And it talks about giving the authority to teachers and administrators when students don't make good decisions. And those things are all listed out of what kind of actions a student may make that results in a disciplinary consequence. And we follow that. One of which that we're seeing right now with certain students is not making the best decision to follow what's expected of them. And it goes under the definition under 48900 of the education code called willful defiance. So as a lawyer, I'm thinking, what does willful mean? And so what I did is I looked it up. And so I have it right here as a definition. And let me read it to you. It says, an immoral or illegal act or admission, intentional, deliberate. It also says, having or showing a stubborn and determined intention to do as one wants, regardless of the consequences or effects, which basically means you don't care what happens. And when those things kind of happen, then that triggers the education code that allows us as educators, the teacher, administration, to look into how we can make a better decision for you that may lead to some type of disciplinary action. You control all this. If you don't do anything that violates the education code, then you don't have to worry about any of this. We also have what's called the Student Conduct Code through Visalia Unified. That is supported by the education code. And there's things in here that help us along when students don't make a good decision that we will follow and help support you with all the interventions that we can, what they call alternative means of correction. Ultimately, where we don't want to go is obviously suspension. So it's up to you and how you handle yourself in terms of the decisions that you make on campus to make sure you're doing the right thing. We also have certain law under the education code that support teachers. It's called 48910. And that section talks about teachers have the right, if a student can't make a good decision and does something against the education code under 48900, that they can have you as a student removed from class. And I've talked to teachers about that. They have the education code. They know where I stand on that. And we will do everything to support a teacher that says a student's not just meeting the expectation and doing something in violation of the education code. And the teacher has the right to say, you know, you're not going to be in class for up to 2 days. And when that happens, now the teacher has to make contact with home. to schedule a parent-teacher conference. The teacher has the right to invite an administrator to be present, and we will be there to help you along to make better decisions in class. So those things are out there to hold students accountable, to make sure we're doing all that we can, which I know we can, meet the expectations that we have on campus and in the classroom. So I want you guys to know that, and what I'm doing to support you and what I'm doing to support all school staff on campus. The second issue deals with the cell phone. Now, there's certain teachers that are doing really good with the cell phone policies, right? There's no problems in those classrooms. Some are struggling because students don't want to follow their policy. So what we've decided to do is come up with a Mount Whitney policy related to cell phone use in the classroom. And you will be seeing these in the classroom called cell phone policy. These will be out there. And what this means basically is that a teacher will, if you bring it out when you're not supposed to and a teacher asks you to put it away, you put it away. If you don't, then the teacher has the right to take one of these envelopes, they will open it, and you will be asked to put your cell phone, let me give you an example, and place it in your envelope, seal it up, and place it on your desk. No one touches your cell phone other than yourself. Teacher doesn't take it, don't have it, you put it away, it's on your desk for the rest of the class period. If you try to access it, a teacher will hear it. So you want to make sure that you leave it in the envelope. When the class is over, open up the envelope, take your cell phone, put it away, and off you go to your next class. That's simple. Now, if you refuse to follow that policy, now you're invoking things from the education code that I just spoke about. And we're going to bring a campus supervisor, an administrator to class because the teacher will call out, and we'll try to get you to follow the policy. If you can't, then we'll take you to the office, and if you refuse then we have a locker for cell phones by Mrs. Ariza that you will place your cell phone in that locker for the rest of the school day. If you still don't want to do that, then we got to get a hold of a parent, come on out, have a meeting and see what we can do to have you comply with the cell phone policy here on campus. Again, you control the total outcome. None of this will happen if you simply follow the policy that you have in your teacher's classroom. And then the last thing is our tardy policy. Now, right now what I'm seeing is a lot of students kind of wandering out at times, not having any sense of urgency to get to class. And we need to address that. So here's the way it's going to work. Effective February 28th, that's next Monday, we're going to have now weekly reports run at the end of the week to show which students are having too many tardies. If you fall where you've had a week of tardies 8 or 9, you're going to have 1 day of lunch detention. If you go 10 to 11, you're going to have 2 days of lunch detention. 12 to 13, you're going to have 3 days of lunch detention. 14 to 15 tardies in a week, you're going to have 4 days of lunch detention. And if you have 16 or more tardies in a given week, you're going to have 5 days of lunch detention. Lunch detention is going to be held in S12. Mr. David, our BIT, is going to supervise it, along with support from me and other teachers and admin. And you control all of that if you simply get to class on time. What we'll do is have passes go to teachers during their 4th period. They'll hand them out to you, and now it's your job to get to S12 to serve your lunch detention. It'll be approximately 25 minutes, and you'll have about the last 15 minutes of lunch to grab something to eat before your next class during 5th period. Now, again, this is important. We have to make sure we're meeting the expectation to get to class on time. Teachers are waiting for you. They want you there. They have so many minutes for instruction, and it's important that you get your learning done in the class time that's allotted. So please make sure you get to class on time. It's very, very important. Now, having said all that, I want to make sure that I will hold you to expectations that I have and shared with you now that you have watched this video. So remember, make sure you do what's expected of you and none of this takes place and you have a successful time here at Mount Whitney because I know all of you can. And one last comment. Just remember, guys, I'm here to help you in anything that you need help with. I'm here to make sure you are successful. I'm a product of Mount Whitney, and I want you to be a successful product of Mount Whitney as well. So please, please make sure you meet all our expectations, and if you have any questions, find me on campus. You'll see me out and about. You can come to my office. Door is always open unless I have a meeting or I'm in the Zoom meeting. So please make sure you reach out to me when you need that support. Thank you, Mount Whitney, for taking a moment to listen to me and give me these few minutes to share out. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks, Mount Whitney.